Have you ever felt like you're surrounded by noise? Not just the sounds of the world, but the constant chatter within your own mind, the rush of opinions, the sting of hasty replies, the weight of words you wish you could take back. In a world that rewards the loudest voice, we often forget that true power doesn't always shout. Sometimes it simply listens. This search for quiet strength reminds us of a timeless story, a lesson whispered from the past for those who are ready to hear it. In the heart of a vibrant, bustling city lived a young man named Kalen. He was sharp, ambitious, and blessed with a quick tongue. In the clamor of the marketplace and the intensity of the debating halls, Kalen's voice was his sword and his shield. He believed that to be heard was to be respected, and to be respected was to be powerful. He could win any argument, counter any point, and fill any silence with a cascade of clever words. Yet for all the debates he won, he felt a profound and growing emptiness. His victories were fleeting, often leaving a bitter aftertaste of broken relationships and misunderstood intentions. His mind, like his tongue, was never at rest. It was a relentless storm of comebacks, judgments, and anxieties, leaving him with no peace, even in his dreams. One evening, after a particularly harsh argument where his words had deeply wounded a close friend, Kalen felt the hollow nature of his power. He'd won the point, but he had lost something far more valuable. That night, a visiting merchant spoke of a monastery nestled high in the distant mountains, a place where the monks were said to be the most influential advisors in the kingdom. The strange part, the merchant said, was that they were known for their profound silence. They possessed a power that did not need to announce itself. Intrigued and desperate, Kalen felt a pull he could not ignore. He decided to seek them out, to find the secret to a strength that didn't require a single word. After a long and humbling journey, he arrived at the monastery. It was a place of deep, resonant quiet. The air itself felt different, calm and clean. He found the master, an old monk with eyes that held the wisdom of 1,000 silent sunrises. Kalen, reverting to his old ways, poured out his story, his words filling the serene space with his frustration and confusion. "Master," he pleaded, "I have a powerful voice, but it brings me no peace. I win arguments, but lose friends. Your monks are silent, yet they are respected. I must learn your secret. What is the art of saying nothing?" The old monk listened patiently, his expression unchanging. When Kalen finally fell silent, exhausted from his own speech, the monk did not answer. Instead, he gestured for Kalen to follow. He led him to a small balcony overlooking the very city Kalen had left behind. The chaotic symphony of life, the shouting merchants, the laughing children, the rumbling carts drifted up to them. "Your lesson is not here in our silence. It is down there, in the noise. For the next 3 days, you will go down to the city from sunrise to sunset. You will walk through the crowds, sit in the taverns, and watch the merchants in the square. But you must follow one rule. You are not to speak a single word. No matter what you see or hear, you will remain silent. Just watch and just listen." Kalen was bewildered. How could he learn the art of silence by returning to the noise? It felt like a contradiction, a foolish task. But the master's calm gaze left no room for argument. The first day was torment. Kalen's mind screamed at him to intervene. He saw a vendor being cheated and bit his tongue so hard it bled. He heard a baseless rumor being spread about a kind woman, and his fists clenched in silent rage. He felt useless, stripped of his only weapon, powerless. The noise of the city was nothing compared to the roaring tempest in his own head. That night, he returned to the monastery feeling defeated and angry. The master simply nodded and gestured for him to rest. The second day was much the same, but a tiny crack appeared in his frustration. He began to notice things he had never seen before: the subtle sadness in the cheating merchant's eyes, the loneliness in the face of the man spreading rumors. His silence was forcing him to see beyond the surface of things. On the third and final day, something shifted. The storm in Kalen's mind began to quiet down. His urge to react and correct was replaced by a deep sense of observation. He was no longer just waiting for his turn to speak, he was truly listening. He watched a young couple have a silent argument, their unspoken feelings conveyed entirely through their pained glances. He saw a child steal a piece of bread, not with malice, but with the desperate hunger of a provider for his younger sister hiding behind. He wasn't just hearing words anymore, he was feeling the heart of the city. Late in the afternoon, he saw two powerful guardsmen unfairly cornering the same vendor he had seen on the first day. In his past, Kalen would have leapt forward with a sharp legal argument, escalating the conflict. But now, he stayed silent. He simply walked closer and stood beside the vendor. He didn't speak. He didn't threaten. He just stood there, calm, his gaze steady and clear. He met the eyes of the guardsmen, and in his silent, unwavering attention, they saw not a challenge, but a witness. They saw themselves reflected in his quiet clarity. Unsettled and unnerved by the power of his silent presence, they muttered an excuse and moved on. The vendor looked at Kalen, his eyes filled with a gratitude deeper than any words could express. Kalen had not said a single word, yet he had changed everything. He finally understood. The art of saying nothing wasn't about being mute. It was about achieving a silent mind. It was the ability to silence the internal noise, the judgments, the reactions, the ego, in order to truly see the world. True power wasn't in the words you spoke, it was in the clarity from which you chose to speak them. He returned to the monastery as the sun was setting, his heart calmed for the first time in his life. The master was waiting for him. You see now? A silent mind is not an empty mind. It is a mind that is finally open. It is from this silence that true power, true wisdom, and true connection are born. And so, the lesson from our story today isn't about avoiding the noise of life, but about cultivating a quiet space within ourselves. It's a reminder that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to pause, to listen, and to see what lies beyond the words. If this story brought a moment of peace or clarity to your day, we would be grateful if you would give this video a like and share it with someone who might need to hear it. For more stories that nourish the mind and soul, be sure to subscribe to our channel, The Storium. Thank you for spending this time with us. Until our next story, may you find wisdom in your journey.